You want the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
You can't handle the truth!
Well, we're giving you the Michigan Sports Truth, the show that reveals facts. The Michigan Sports Truth podcast does not represent or defame any of the teams it covers. It only detects, exposes, and reveals honest, actual, and hidden truth, facts, and statistics about them.
And welcome to episode 9 of the midweek edition on Spreaker, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts via iTunes. Taylor Phillips and Ed Smith with you guys. Follow me on Twitter at DT2Phillips. Follow Ed Smith on Twitter at EdSmith313. So, Ed, we thought it was going to be short, but we had at least a couple things to add off the air, and now we're ready to kick this thing into high gear.
Yeah, definitely. Luckily, some breaking news concerning our Pistons transpired and became public knowledge in the past couple days.
Yep.
That finally gave us something to decipher on. So I'm ready to get down to that as soon as you are.
Yeah, let's start with the Pistons hiring Casey.
Sideline 3, and he answers.
Yes, the Pistons have hired Dwayne Casey and have agreed with him on a 5-year contract. And now Dwayne Casey wants to expand his game the same way he did with the Toronto Raptors. He wants to develop all of his players, including the big guys like Andre Drummond, Reggie Jackson, and Blake Griffin especially. There was a report from The Score, an article that says that Dwayne Casey wants Griffin to expand his game by shooting three-pointers, may I add, like DeMar DeRozan did with the Toronto Raptors. And that's going to take some work, but I'm pretty sure it'll start kicking in the process. But a very, very awesome hire by the Pistons owner Tom Gores and senior advisor Ed Stefanski. They still need a general manager and a team president, but they made the right move in terms of the head coaching position, and it was expected too.
Yes, I would have to say so. Expected on the one hand because, as mentioned and stated before, Ed Stefanski, who was recently brought on as new senior advisor to the Pistons, he has ties with Dwayne Casey going back to those days when Casey was in Toronto, around 2011 to 2013. Stefanski was the GM of the Raptors. Casey, of course, was starting out his head coaching tenure there as well. So there's history between the two that ties back to there. And I also see it as expected because not so much expected, but something that needed to happen because with the Pistons, they had already missed out on one or two coaching prospects that were available, like, say, for instance, a David Fisdale or Mark Budenholzer. So they couldn't afford, it would behoove them to not miss out on this one. I granted, usually in traditional sense of things, when you're cleaning house or you're starting a new front office tenure or whatever, you try to go with the GM first before and then let the GM pick the coach. That's the usual order of things. However, when you notice that this is a hot commodity that's available in the market, essentially, this is a man who, in all intents and purposes, may very well be named the coach of the year, not just by his fellow peers, but officially in terms of the NBA awards and whatnot. So you're literally bringing last year's coach of the year onto your roster. That has to count as a plus for something. It's not his fault that DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry didn't show up and got swept by LeBron in the second round. That's nothing to do with that. Yes, coaches coach, but players also have to play. You got to put that more on the players more than anything. That's why DeRozan got his ass benched in Game 3 because he wasn't fucking producing. That's on him. So as far as Dwayne Casey goes, I consider him a solid coach, a good coach. When LeBron James is speaking praise to you, to me, I take that as a good thing more often than not. So I converse with one of my close friends about basketball all the time, and he keeps telling me that this is a move that looks and feels like the right move. He looks like, Dwayne Casey, knock on wood, he looks like a guy that could be coaching a team from Detroit, you know what I mean? And not from a stereotypical sense, but in terms of just the right look, the right fit, the right image. He seems like a guy that's going to not take any crap in a good way. It's going to be hard-nosed. He's going to be making sure that the players are playing up to their best talents that he knows that they're capable of and being. As far as expanding Blake Griffin's role, I wish him best of luck with that. Blake, he has shown that he can hit a shot, but it comes after every 5 or 6 attempts. If he means getting him to a more productive and more consistent accuracy, I'm all for it. I wish he could shoot 30, 35% from downtown for a guy his size and his position. I would love to see that. But, you got to, work with baby steps first. Blake was not known as having a mid-range shot. He had to develop that first. But so if he feels he's more comfortable and wants to branch out more power to him. I would probably say take a closer look at your own teammate, Andre Drummond, what he's doing. Yes, he's practicing 3 from ideally 3-point range, but it's to set up and build upon his mid-range game better so that eventually when the time comes, he can pop up and hit that needed long jumper, or when someone is guarding the paint, he can just rise up and hit a quick mid-range shot, like, say, DeMarcus Cousins or Anthony Davis would do, or how Al Horford, for instance. So I like how Drummond is doing that. Maybe Blake is looking upon that and is using that to branch, adding a little bit of his own mix into it so he can branch up on his 3-point shooting ability. Who knows? That could be happening. In fact, that might be what Casey could be overseeing at this very moment. You never know. So as far as them knowing what they had to do to get the right coaching prospect that was available now, especially when, you had all these other teams looking for another coach, I wouldn't be too surprised if someone else had snatched him up, if the Pistons decided to pass on him and focus more on looking for a GM. So, right move, right time, right everything. I like this move.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And, let's get to that What's Your Grade segment, by the way.
Pencils down, everyone. It's time to find out what's your grade.
I would have to say, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, it's easy. This is a simple and solid A. On all accounts, the person's gotten the right guy for the job. If you believe accolades, if you believe peers and appraisals and all that good stuff, and good fortune, and look what he has done with teams, seeing how he took a bad Toronto team and took them into a perennial contender in the Eastern Conference. It's not saying much, but something, to go from nothing to something is something to me. So I always take that consideration. So when you factor in all of outside of everything that factored into this, take that consideration. Yeah, this was an easy move to make. This was an easy grade to make. So I'm giving this one an A.
Yep, me too. So that's our What's Your Grade segment. So for our audience, if they have a grade for each event, post that in the comment bank in this episode, and please don't go out of line. So let's shift to some Tigers here. We need to address something here.
That one is long gone.
First off, the Twins-Tigers series at home. Twins take the first one 6-4 on a grand slam in the 7th inning off Louis Coleman by Ehire Adrianza. And then in the second game, the Tigers drop a 4th spot of their own in the bottom of the 8th with some small ball. Yeah, the fans can try to thank the Rally Goose, at least try to thank the Rally Goose for that. But he hasn't helped the Tigers' offense produce much runs. But it's only on the players themselves to do their job, which they hadn't done until tonight. And they managed to muster 4 runs, including a 2-run single to widen the Tigers' lead to 5-2, and Shane Green earned the 3-out save setting him up the 3-out save in the top of the 9th, setting him up and down 1-2-3 with the exclamation point of fanning Max Kepler as a pinch hitter. Kepler being an outfielder in particular, by the way. And that split the series at a game apiece. The rubber matchup is at 1-10, but the Tigers and Twins still far back in the American League Comedy Central standings and much farther back in the wild card standings as well. 1-10, Michael Fulmer versus Lance Lynn, that is. Lance Lynn with a 4-4 record, 5.08 ERA. Well, that's outrageous. 168 WHIP, even more outrageous. Michael Fulmer, 2-5 with a 4.40 ERA and a 1.30 WHIP. Yeah, Lance Lynn's going to get rocked tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, but, you hope Fulmer doesn't turn into a matching gas can of his own. As for the rally goose thing, I got to say real briefly, it is ridiculous. It is completely rudimentary if you were to ask me. I guess the fans they're trying to have some lighthearted fun of this because they know this isn't a contending team. They're trying to make something out of nothing. But to me, it's just ridiculous. Like, you're really going to say that an animal that appeared out of nowhere is some emulting karmic energy of goodness, some type of kismet. That if he shows up out of nowhere, the Tigers are granted some type of special powers to come back from behind and win. Okay, no, this is not 2002. This is not LA. This is not some fucking rally monkey helping you encourage to win the World Series. No, this is some middle of the road team in a middle of the road division literally in the middle of the road of the season, trying to string some wins so that they don't be try to avoid 100 losses as much as possible, which you should argue is probably the one thing they should be doing right now. But to give credit where credit is due, fans have not taken. Don't you think the fans maybe could have probably at some point noticed that maybe it was the fault of some weird animal or some cosmic being, or maybe due to the fact that you have a manager in Ron Gottenheimer who, let's be honest, I didn't like to hire as much as the next guy, but he has knowledge, he has experience, he has a lot of a myriad of knowledge from a temple of sorts in his mind of situations, what to do, how to cinch up, how to prepare, how to do this. If you're down by this amount of runs, what do you do to get back in the game? Draw a walk, get some guys on base, play small ball if you need be. He has that type of knowledge for managing as long as he has in this game. Some of it is old school and archaic, yes, but it's gotten him wins, and it's gotten him in it's situations where even if you're down by, say, 4 or 5 runs, it's not too much of a stressful thing to think about. You focus on the right fundamentals, square up, do the right things, you inch yourself back closer and closer, make adjustments, most importantly. For God's sake, if you think if Brad Ausmus is out there, they'll be winning these type of games, hell no. So, to me, that comes down to more than anything of what the manager is doing versus some fucking goose.
Right. Except for the only advantage that Ausmus has over Gardenhire is the knowledge of sabermetrics. But Brad Ausmus still didn't have the overall advantage over Ron Gardenhire. But it's strange to me. But transitioning. Before we do that, the Tigers are, after their rubber finale against the Minnesota Twins, head to Chicago at Guaranteed Rate Field, the South Side, and play the White Sox at 8:10 and then 2:10, including Sunday on Father's Day. And now we transition to their top star, Miguel Cabrera, being ruled out for the rest of the season with a ruptured bicep tendon in his left arm.
God.
That is unreal. That is unreal.
Oh, man.
But he did foul off a ball off of his body, but the Tigers don't need Miguel Cabrera anymore. This is a new era of Tigers baseball where the young guns have to chip in. Yes, they still have Victor Martinez, but he's aging as well, and he still can't run that well either. But the only difference between Miguel Cabrera right now and Victor Martinez is Miguel Cabrera is way more injury prone than Victor Martinez. But in general, the young guys are taking over.
Yeah, wow, that's definitely shocking. I've been so far away from Tigers news regarding Twitter and whatnot that this caught me off guard. This is literally my first time hearing this. So to me, my initial reaction is you got to embrace the tank even further. fuck this rally goose bullshit. You have another number one pick to go get, okay? If you want to stock up, hey, this is the trust the process move.
To call up.
Right, I would readily approve of.
You already got it.
Highest paid player and well-known slugger just went down. He's out for the rest of the year. You're a middling team in the middling division that you know, more than likely than not, whoever wins the division, they're going to get smoked at the playoffs, even if it is the Cleveland Indians. Hey, the signs are there. Go for the tank. Trust the process of this shit.
Yes, exactly. That's just another list of the Tigers don't need.
Trust me, would you like to build, give Casey Mize, was it Carey Mize? Casey
Mize,
What's
yeah.
his name again?
It's Casey Mize, not Carey. That's a girl's
Casey
name.
Mize. I've seen the dude's name Carey before. But anyways, wouldn't you like to give Casey Mize a good dueling arm in that rotation, a Scherzer to his Verlander, if you will, or give him a good core of guys to help surround him with? Because Casey, as good as he could be, he's only one dude. He's going to need more team and more players around him to help build into a championship contender. So, this would be the right move, the right time, opportunity for me to say, hey, this goose thing is cute, but we have a future to think about. Let's stop half-assing and really go all in and full out with this rebuild.
Yeah, absolutely. The future is now. Let's wake up, focus on reality, and realize what the hell's going on. So, again, like I just pointed out, there's a list of things that the Tigers don't need. The stupid rally goose, Miguel Cabrera, and Victor Martinez. Just rebuild away. And Ron Gardenhire at least is willing to mentor the young players too, like Jim Leyland did in 2006, which is kind of different. So, transitioning to the Red Wings. The Red Wings are offering 1-year and 2-year contracts to defenseman Mike Green because we pointed out earlier that we heard that they were planning to re-sign him along with nearing the bridge deal with Anthony Mantha and looking to trade their number 6 overall NHL drafter this year. But the focus is on Mike Green in this episode, and this is just another roadblock on another prospect trying to make the NHL from either the Grand Rapids Griffins or the Toledo Walleye. But that's just Ken Hahn, and he doesn't want to rebuild. And Chris Illich is just a new owner that doesn't give a shit.
Yep, that pretty much puts a point blank.
Yep. Yeah, no explanation needed there. So, we'll just move on to the Michigan Wolverines football program.
Touchdown, Michigan!
We have a graduate transfer coming to Michigan from Illinois. He's a quarterback, and his name is Jeff Jones Jr., and he will be eligible to play immediately.
I love it!
Here's the new rule. A new NCAA rule allows transfers to have eligibility to play without permission, and digressing a little bit from that, it allows redshirt players to play in up to 4 games without having eligibility. Whether you're a redshirt freshman or redshirt sophomore, whichever. It's a glorious new NCAA rule, a more giving NCAA rule. Just the sweetest piece of the deal. Just allowing players to play.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of this rule getting abused in the near future. I'm predicting this right now, so be prepared.
Yeah, but for Michigan, they got a new quarterback, and they desperately needed one.
Yeah, and it's to help out. You can never have enough quarterbacks, as we saw from last year. How much of a bitch of an ordeal it can be for the Wolverines. So they're trying to keep they're not trying to keep all their eggs in one basket. They're trying to have as many gooses lined up, many ducks in a row as need be, whether it be Shea Patterson, whether it be George Jr., whether it be Dylan McCaffrey, whether it be God, I've lost count. So many. But, they're trying to have some type of contingency plan that they tried their best to not go through what they went through last year, because above anything, a lot of people would say the root of all their issues, or actually rather one of, if not the root of their offensive issues, was the play of the quarterback. So, and what really affected that was the rotation, like like a trolley at the circus. Just rotating show of quarterback week after week. So over time, that of course played into the detriment of the offense as a whole. So hopefully you try to avoid that as much as possible this year. You'll probably get a better outcome in situations which turn into more wins, possibly.
Yeah, and not that we guarantee that the players are going to be good enough to win big games like against Michigan State and Ohio State, but this is just just a need to fill up the roster at least. Try to give them an opportunity at least. Try to see what they have, what they bring to the table. So, speaking of football,
Touchdown, Detroit Lions!
Transitioning to the pros, the Detroit Free Press's Carlos Monarrez writes an asinine article headlining that Matt Patricia is losing his players.
Are you out of your mind?
Yeah, I got to hear this.
Yeah, this one you gotta. Yeah, you were gonna try to look that up. I'm gonna look that up as well. I got it on my.
Well, I've already looked it up. I've already looked it up, but I think I'll go through. I'll be the one leading this segment this time, because I really got to see what some of my reaction is, because this is some of the most laughable shit I've seen this year already. Maybe I haven't read enough Lynn Henning or Anthony Fennick articles, but still, this is just, oh my God. Anyway, all right, here it is. Matt Patricia is in danger of losing his players. This was my main observation from 3 days of minicamp this week. The Detroit Lions rookie coach wants things done his way, and his way means running as punishment. Lots and lots of running. That's not likely to endear him to his players, many of whom are experienced professionals who don't need or care to be treated like junior varsity drivers. These are true professionals, rookie running back Kerryon Johnson said Tuesday, while marveling at the talent level difference between college and NFL players. These are grown men, 30, 35, 25. Okay, first things first. You really think that because players are running more as a form of punishment under Matt Patricia so far, or even you want to call that a punishment, they're doing more running now than they did under Jim Caldwell or whoever it was? That's supposed to be a reason for your players, quote unquote, not feeling or losing their being lost to their head coach? Give me a break with that. It's called what the coach sees fit as the better shape of his players, build them more together, bond them more together as one, as more cohesive, and among other things. It's I don't know what you call it, but it's not some form of coddling or any of that sort of nature, if you want to look at it one end of the spectrum or not. But still, it's just ridiculous to jump to a conclusion so far off base from that mere sentiment. Okay, continue. Just going down all on the line, really the main gist of it, that because they were doing more running, and now he's trying to compare this to say, and don't think I'm in favor of coddling modern day pro athletes with inflated paychecks and that match their egos. Hall of Fame linebacker Mike Singletary loved the old school pennants. I'm guessing Singletary probably also thought Bear Bryant was too soft on the Junction Boys. But this is a different era, a restricted practice time. Teams need to use judiciously. Patricia needs to find a way to prove his point here more efficiently, or else he runs the risk of alienating players before the season starts. Get the fuck out of my face with that. That is so, oh God, I don't even know what to say. Like, these guys, I'm sure with their millions of dollars, Okay, and their nice homes and their pretty wives and girlfriends and baby moms or whoever the hell they're going or screwing with, or screwing, I should say, wherever they go home to, I'm sure that this is the last, running a few extra laps around in practice is the last thing on their minds when they go home. Oh, my goodness. Oh, and here's the more observations. You hold your hat for this one, Taylor. Here's the bullet point. I missed Jim Caldwell. I swear to God, the moment I first saw that bullet point, I wanted to throw my fist through my computer screen. Are you serious with this? But let's continue. Yes, that's a little extreme. No shit, Sherlock.
Oh, boy.
But Papa Coach definitely made some reporters nostalgic for the Check the Report days after Patricia's constant flow of non-answers this week became increasingly frustrating. Patricia gave few straightforward answers in all three of his pre-practice morning news conferences. He offered almost no information on important topics like the national anthem, Ziggy Ansah's health and contract situation, or Nick Bodwin's injury. Okay, first and foremost, saying you miss Jim Caldwell is saying I miss having a canker sore at the bottom of my mouth. It is painful, it is irritating, it is stubborn as hell, and it will not go away unless you find a way to forcibly remove it. So I miss Jim Caldwell like I miss a canker sore, okay? And the Check the Report, yeah, did you not also forget the times he used to berate and chide some of you like you were useless children? Did you miss that shit? Please. Okay. How about some decorum with that one, fucking idiot. And also the last point of non-answers and not being straightforward with information. Dipshit, did you not see the program, the culture that he has just come from, where he spent the last 15 years, 15, 16, however long it was, last almost 2 decades of his life at?
The New England Patriots.
Emulate? Exactly. And he even mentions that himself later on in the article. So, when you are aware fully of what the Lions are trying to do, from the GM on down to the head coach, why are you still pitching a moan about this? And it was so repugnant. I couldn't even get to the last one, which is saying, oh, Matt Castle is my leader in the clubhouse, in the fight with Jake Rudolph for the number 2 QB spot. Okay, that's where I click X on you and say, okay, how in the hell how do you even have a career, dude? Seriously. Matt Castle has a better chance to be a backup than Jake Rudolph. Okay, I can see why the Free Press is paying you. I can see why they're playing Anthony Fennick. I got nothing else to say except what a load of horse shit.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the Free Press, yeah, even worse than the Detroit News, slightly, if you want to put it that way. And it starts with a new age of writing, including Carlos Monarrez himself. Oh my God, Carlos Monarrez is a fucking disgrace. He can get the fuck out unless the Free Press is paying him to write some shit the bizarre way.
Is there a way I could nominate this as a DSR Raggy for one of the worst articles of the year, or use this as a
report it to Jeff Moss,
or use this as a 4-year consideration for Monarez's entry into the shitty 64 tournament next year, or some of that, because this cannot go unpunished. It just can't.
No. I'm pretty sure Jeff Moss already touched on that in his on his Twitter feed at Dead Sports Rag. Let me see. Let me scroll down here. Hang on. I'm not seeing it really. But to be honest with you, why don't I go ahead and? Yeah, I mean, really, this may have been the past, but still. It can never be erased. This may be a few days old, but still, it's one of the most asinine articles I've ever read in the calendar year of 2018. Yeah, it's got to be a fucking raggy, all right.
I've shifted a little bit further away from reading local newspapers. Shit like this is one reason why.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Yep, so that is the ultimate cherry on top of the sundae on episode 9 of the midweek edition. Before we sign off, we'll want to remind everyone to share this episode and our entire podcast on social media and have their friends share that as well, because we want to tell them that the Michigan Sports Truth podcast is in search of a wider audience that is fans of sports. So please spread the word about the Michigan Sports Truth podcast on Speaker, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts via iTunes, its Facebook page, and its Twitter handle at Michigan_Truth. Man, that was a grand finale of fireworks for the greatest Fourth in the North here in Lake City, the town I live close, the city that I live close to, here in northern Michigan. Ed, but that being said, Ed Smith, great job on especially unloading up with a heavy artillery on Monarrez, leading Matt Patricia.
Yeah.
This is the NFL.
Just call Carlos moron. Just say that. Carlos moron.
And a fucking pussy easier. As well, combined.
Moronic. Carlos moronic.
Yeah. Carlos moronic Monarrez.
It's been a while since I had to let out a vent, so that was well needed. Plus, I needed something to get me over that thrashing that the LeBron took in the finals last week, so this is my way to vent.
Yep. Warriors are a clean sweep. LeBron frustrated with his teammates. Yep. Yeah, you can't blame LeBron.
Yeah, he's gone. We know he's gone. The only question is, which team is he going to?
Right.
And at this point, I wouldn't be surprised.
Not in our format, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, but that being said, get some rest. We'll talk to you again next week.
All right, no problem. Looking forward to it, Taylor. Take care, man.
Absolutely. So for Ed Smith, I'm Taylor Phillips. Follow me on Twitter at DT2Phillips and follow Ed Smith on Twitter at EdSmith313. We'll talk to you next week on episode 10 of the midweek edition. That's going to be a milestone. Thanks very much for listening, downloading, and sharing TTFN. Ta-ta for now.
The Michigan Sports Truth podcast does not represent or defame any of the teams it covers. It only detects, exposes, and reveals honest, actual, and hidden truth, facts, and statistics about them.
Mission complete.